Hi guys, welcome to the channel Practical Reefer. My name's Mark. Now this week I'm going to look at creating a hang-on back refugium using the same filters that I use in the tank already. Now what I have done is just bought a spare filter because I run 3 of these anyway, so you never know, in the next year's time one of them might break or something like that. So having a spare one's not a big issue, and they are £16. So not a huge amount of money, and it just makes it a bit easier for me to work on this one dry and clean, and just take the old one out and replace this one back in, and then I'll keep the old one as a spare. So first things first is with this Refugium, it's not a clear box. It's a kind of smoky grey box. However, I have placed up some of these lights to one of my old filters before, or one of the ones I'm currently in use, and the light does get through. So we'll see how well this works. So you've got the 2 chambers there, and we'll show you how I'll light that. The other thing that I'll just quickly show you while I've got the box here is on the overflows I'm going to use these little pieces of egg crate, and I'm going to just glue them down onto the lip of the overflow so that the water can still get through, but it should hold back any chaetomorpha that is in these chambers without them just flowing over the edge and going into the tank. So that's the big thing. The next big thing is I bought 2 of these for £8, so we'll call it £4. This was AliExpress. I've got 1 meter of now it's what they called it waterproof, but it's water resistant. I think it's IP65 as opposed to IP68. And even IP68, not all IP68s are the same. They have to have a very specific they have to have a statement from the manufacturer saying what they're suitable for use for, you know, whether it's continuous submersion or you know, a meter for 30 minutes or something like that. But this one's it's more water resistant, kind of splash proof. So this will be going on the outside of the filter, and I'll wrap it around the outside of the chambers of the filter. To do that, I will use just some basic super glue for £2 a tube. Couldn't find any Sano acrylic when I was at the shops the other day, but I do have Gorilla Glue as well, which I'll use to put down the bits that are going to be in the water. I've got some cheaper stuff coming from Amazon, but that's going to take a few days, but I've got some Gorilla Glue sitting there anyway. The other big thing with the lights, because they're USB powered, I've got a USB plug here. Now I got a 2-port one in case I decide to adapt the other filter that I have on the tank to a Refugium, so it just saves me having 2 plugs and 2 timers. I'll just use 1 plug and 1 timer. And then, as mentioned, I think that plug there was £4 off of eBay. And then I have a drawer full of mechanical timers for putting lights on when I go on holiday or different things. So one of them will cost you about £4 or £5. So it's not too bad. Overall, everything that I need is about £34, but most of the stuff I already had. You know, the filter technically I had, but I'm just going to use a new one for the sake of the video. You know, I've got Gorilla Glue sitting there anyway. The timer was in a drawer, and the USB plug, you could probably steal one off a phone charger because phone charger cables break, and everyone gets a new phone every year or 2, so there's probably one of those kicking about in your house, but if not, you can buy one for a couple of £pounds. So I'm really only maybe about £10 into this, so it'll be interesting to see if it works and how well it does work. But we'll start putting this together, and I'll show you how we do it, and then we'll come back and see how it works, because my green hair algae is starting to come back a little bit again, even after scrubbing off a lot of the rocks. So be keen to get this into the tank and start fighting that battle, and we'll come back. But 2 seconds guys, and we'll see what it looks like. So guys, I've just popped a bit of tape on here, and I've just kind of mocked up how I'm going to set the lights. So the cable itself is actually going to go off to the side, but I've just wrapped it there so I can just use 1 bit of tape to pop it on. So as you'll see, this is the overflows, which is where the water level is going to come up to. So the chaetomorpha is going to sit in these 2 chambers up to this sort of height, or have the ability to come up to this sort of height. So I've started the end of the LED light strip there, and it wraps round this first chamber, and then it starts to angle up, and that's where you then get some more height. We have a straight run across the back to light basically both the chambers, the side of the next one, and then it starts to wind back down around this chamber. So they're both fully lit, so that's the plan. And then obviously this wire will go off to the side, and then what I'll just show you, let me just light them up and I'll let you see that. And this is just with the light switched on, so this is just to show how I plan to do it. Now, as I say, it's a kind of a smoky black. It's almost like tinted windows, but as you can see, plenty of light's getting through, and both the chambers are pretty well lit, and I have a feeling that's going to be enough to grow some chaeto. And I mean, some of those you're actually looking through the bottom of one chamber and through the side of the other, and you can still see the light. So pretty happy with that. I think it's going to do the job. It's probably going to be more than enough to grow a little bit of chaetomorpha. I think that should do the job, but we'll get this glued on and we'll have a look. So guys, here's the finished unit. The Bostik multi-purpose glue wasn't that great. I kind of put on a daub sort of every second diode, or the gap in between every second diode, and just put it on, but there was always a bit of overspill and a bit messy. So what I did is probably in the middle of each side and each run, I put like a little daub of the Gorilla Glue, which is much stronger. And then I also used the Gorilla Glue for this bit because that's going into the water, and just popped on a bit of this egg crate. So it's just enough that the water will flow through completely normally, but the algae could probably get caught on it and not go flowing out if it got a bit filled up with algae. But I'll be maintaining this every week, and I'll check the algae that's in it. You know, I don't think it's going to fill one of these within 7 days. I'll probably start quite small and see how we get on, but I think it'll do the job. I might pop a bit of sponge in the back, maybe with some gaps in it, just to allow the water to flow through. But maybe, I mean, the water's going to come in here anyway and be pushed out the way, so I don't expect the algae to try and flow back into the middle chamber, so I'm not worried about it clogging the pump. So I'll probably just leave the sponge just now and see how I get on, but we'll get this into the tank and we'll see how it works. So guys, this is the finished result. I've got the hang on back, so I've just literally changed the body over. So I've fitted the body with the lights glued on, and I've just used the same downpipe, which was perfectly fine, and the motor from the previous filter body that was in there. So that's fine. Just obviously there's no point using all brand new kit when I've got an impeller that's already in service. So yeah, it's plenty of light in that little box. So I'll have chaetomorpha in there, I'll add that in a second, and chaetomorpha in there. I've turned the flow down just a little bit because there's nothing stopping the flow. There's no sponges, there's no floss. Might be an idea to put a pre-filter on it, but I'm quite happy with the idea like copepods and things getting in there first. And as you can see, I'm just plugged in there with the timer. So at the moment it's basically on all the dark hours. It's probably got more than what I'll need, but we'll see how we go. What I have done, I've just popped down to the kitchen and got the scales out. I've got 2 little clumps of chaetomorpha from my little frag tank, which I'm fighting with the other hand just now. They're attached to each other. So between the 2 of these, they weigh 7 grams, not each, but both together weigh 7 grams. So I'll just pop them in there. Maybe just need a little prod down. So as you can see, they're just quite small bits. Nothing fancy, but what I'll do, I've weighed them there, so they're 7 grams, so I'll give them a couple of weeks and I'll maybe take it out, and I'll see instantly. I'll be able to tell if it's grown quite substantially, but it'd be interesting to get an end weight within a few weeks. And what the plan is for that to fight my green hair algae. So this is some of the stuff that I didn't scrub a few weeks ago, or a week ago. Molly's always loved to get in the shot. Because I've got some clove polyps in there. You can see one in the middle, and there's some that you won't quite see off to the side, and I didn't really want to scrub the hell out of that rock and kill the clove polyps, because it's the only firework clove polyps I've got. Obviously I can get some more, but I'd rather keep them alive. So yeah, that's what that's going to be fighting there. So it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. One thing that some people have some issues with or concerns is wrapping LED lights, which generate a little bit of heat, round you know, the plastic body of a hang-on back filter or a media reactor. But to be honest, they're very, very tiny LEDs on this LED strip, and I just don't think they're not generating as much heat as what probably the temperature of the water is. And if they were to get a little bit warmer than the water temperature, then that would cool them anyway. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I've no doubt that these casings could go up to about 30 degrees or so, and if the LEDs ever got up to that, then the water would start to cool them before they got past that. So I think that's not going to be a problem, but I think it'll be fine. One thing I did do is just turn the flow down a little bit, just to try and stop the chaeto from getting abused too much. I might put a pre-filter on the inlet at some point, but we'll see how we go. And that's about it. So hopefully this is the beginning of the end, or the start of winning the battle against the green hair algae. I'm quite happy with it. It's not the prettiest looking thing on the outside, the way that I've glued on the LEDs and things, but I think it'll do the job, or I really hope it'll do the job. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks very much for all your comments and likes before, and to all my new subscribers. And please, if you're liking the videos, give me a little subscribe and give me a like and a comment below again. And thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time, guys.